Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Crown Business TV this week, the place where business owners and entrepreneurs receive valuable insight and takeaway information into improving their profitability and their business growth. And speaking of profitability and business growth, if you're after some information on that right now, there is a link in the comments below where you can grab a free report that will help you double your business income in the fastest, easiest, and most profitable way possible. With us again tonight is Steve Becchio. How are you going, Steve?
Hey, mate. Good to be back again. Good for another chat. So great to be here. Thank you.
Awesome, mate. Well, why don't we dive right in? Tonight's topic is all about KPIs in business and improving the health, the health and what's the word, Steve? The health and the benefits, I guess, your business gets from diving into KPIs and assessing that each week.
That's what most businesses want: profitability and less stress. So, yeah.
Absolutely, mate. So let's take a look. I'm just going to bring up share my screen right now and look at, is your business healthy or not? Because in every business, there are certain drivers that are pretty much the pulse or the heartbeat of a business. And they are what is known as KPIs, or key performance indicators. And some of these major indicators are things like revenue, other things such as leads, your conversion rates in your business, what sort of conversions you're getting with incoming inquiries into paying customers. Also, your profit margins in your business are a good key performance indicator. These are sort of indicators that we should be looking at monthly, at a bare minimum monthly, when we have our team meetings with our business, to assess where we're at with things such as, okay, what level of revenue do we want to reach, and what are we actually hitting with our targets? And another good area, which is quite important right now and quite timely with our discussion on KPIs, is cash, and the fact that we're now, a week into a new financial year, which is a good time to start looking at things like hitting targets, putting plans in place and to achieve a certain target with our business, and talking about KPIs. Now, the cash or cash flow as a KPI, I think, is a really good one considering the current environment we're in. I think business owners throughout the COVID period, and it's still quite relevant if you're in Victoria, cash is king right now, and any dollar is a good dollar in business, and it will be that way. If we look at it as an indicator in our business, that's going to determine how healthy it actually is. And one last one I'll put in there as well is complaints. And as we know, Steve, if you'd want to share some input on this, mate, is our reputation is everything in our business, isn't it, mate?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they say that for every bad experience, someone tells 7 other people. So, if you have a lot of complaints in your business and you have a poor relationship with your customers, it's certainly going to get around quickly. So that's a really important point.
Absolutely. So there is a lot of KPIs in a business that you can measure, but for tonight's discussion, we're going to stick with a few key ones, and those being revenue, conversion rates, the amount of leads you're getting in, the real drivers in the pulse I mentioned earlier, the heartbeat of your business that's going to take it from where it is today to where you would like it to be in reaching those goals you've got for your company. So just on my screen now, we use what is called a balanced scorecard in your business. So if we take those key performance indicators and start writing down, okay, well, this month, what sort of target revenue do we want to reach? I might just make that a little bigger. What sort of revenue do we want to reach? And let's just say it could be 150K. And we go through our team meeting and we write down what are the KPIs we want to set targets for, and put those in place on this scorecard. And at the end of the month or in a month's time, when we come back and review it and start writing in our actuals, So in the examples case here, we've got an actual revenue coming in of 130,000. Our leads have hit 40 leads for the month rather than 50. We have a conversion rate that we wanted to reach, which is 40%, and we've only hit 20 of that, which therefore our profits now have dropped from 60,000 down to 30,000. So the question on our minds when we've now seen our actuals come in and comparing it to the targets we want to hit is, why are we not meeting our targets? There's got to be a reason for that. And that's what's so valuable about, first of all, having our monthly meetings, but second of all, making sure that we hit these targets, right? It's valuable in the way that we say, well, gee, we're a bit off track. We need to start zeroing in now on what are we going to do to reach our targets the following month. Any input on that, Steve?
Yeah, that's great, mate. I think the great thing about the balanced scorecard is you can start to measure things. And when you start measuring things in a business, it's much easier to track and improve them. You can actually have objective targets to which you can go and measure each month, and then sit down and assess how you're tracking to those targets. So, great tool.
Yeah, absolutely. So up in front of us now, I've got what I call the Wheel of Fortune, the real Wheel of Fortune, and you'll notice there where we have our targets. So these could be our targets for the year, targets for the for the quarter, 6 months, monthly, weekly, whatever you like. But this is sort of the process we go through in order to track how we are going to turn that goal, if you like, into reality and make sure that we have the plan in place to reach it. So if we start off by developing our target for the month, for example, then we go and put a plan in place to reach that target. Right. No matter what KPI we're wanting to set the target for, this works in any key performance indicator. We put a plan in place, and then we execute on that plan, meaning we take action and we reverse engineer that plan, and then we take action on it to say, well, okay, if I need 60 leads per month, I just need 2 leads per day now to reach that target. So we take action on that. Once we've reached the end of our month now, and we review how our progress has gone on that execution, we can see, okay, how are we going as far as meeting our targets this month? And then if we need to make improvements and optimize it in any area, we can do so, and then repeat the process again till we are actually getting our targets, our actuals meeting our targets. Obviously, then when you're reaching your targets, then you start setting new, bigger and better goals and rinse and repeat again. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I love this Wheel of Fortune idea too. It's a very good structured process. You find most business owners are so stuck up in doing the work and bogged down in the work side of it that they don't follow a structured process of setting targets, reviewing, optimizing, and they sort of have an ad hoc approach to business and start meandering all over the place. And I think we've all done it, and it's a great structure to keep in your mind to follow to stay focused on an objective.
And it's a Wheel of Fortune, but it could be called the Wheel of anything. I mean, this diagram works, procedure works in any area of life, even really. I mean, if you're let's just say you're trying to lose weight, you would set a target, you would put a plan in place to reach that target, but then you've got to get out there and do the hard yakka to execute on that plan, and then review it whenever you like to check your progress, and then say, well, we might need to run a bit further next month. So it's the type of procedure that works in any areas of life. Oops. So when we come back to our balanced scorecard, we want to and our review process. Every month we want to work on, okay, sit down at our team meeting monthly and talk about, okay, what are the major successes we've had this month? And in this case, it could be we've simply identified where the cash leaks are in our business, and they could be things like subscriptions that are unused or not necessary. Simple things like that can be a major success. So as opposed to major obstacles we're facing in the business, which could be something similar to closing sales as difficult, affecting performance of reaching our conversion targets for the month. They are the review process of the current month. So when we come to the next month plan, we want to discuss things like marketing, sales, and customer activities in one section, one area, which is it could be something like review our website, the analytics on that and how it's performing, and improve it where necessary. So whether we get our marketing team or whether it's outsourced, we need to improve on that to make sure that our leads from our website are reaching its target. Other side of that, other area of the business is financial expenses and expense reduction, and profit levels in the business as well. So areas to dive in there and take action on for the month could be reviewing all credit accounts and credit cards to see line by line what expenses have gone out and whether they are necessary expenses or not there. In following that, down the bottom there, we've got other areas of the business such as product development or service development, if you like, where we, for example, creating our own unique selling proposition. What makes us unique compared to everyone else in the market? So, and coming up with one that is the most powerful in the industry as well. We want to stand out amongst the crowd. So creating USP in this case is a great way of innovation and developing your product and service. And then on the other side, you have your systems and process development, which is a key area to look into monthly as well. And in this example, we've got fine tuning and documenting our hiring and onboarding process for new staff. Now, without looking like we've jumped all over the place there a bit, though, just examples. But I think the key message here is to using those 6 areas, major successes, major obstacles in the business, and then the 4 key areas of the business to be reviewing and to planning for the following months, so that your business is staying healthy, that you're measuring, reviewing, optimizing, and making sure you're on targets with your KPIs. Anything else to add in there, do you think, Steve?
Oh, that's right, mate. I mean, following a process like this is great because usually you'll find that the answers to the problems or the challenges in a business are in the people that work in the business. And this process lets everyone contribute to it. And, of course, you should always be working through these items with those KPIs in mind, because ultimately those are the key performance indicators. Those are the goals that you want to get to. But these are great processes for everyone to have a contribution towards those. So.
Absolutely. So when we are setting goals or targets for each month and KPIs we want to reach, you may have seen this term before, and that is setting SMART goals. So what I mean by setting SMART goals is, first of all, they must be specific. If you are delegating this out to a team member, we will discuss this in a minute. But if you're delegating it out, it must be specific and understandable that person you delegate to knows exactly what's going on. It has to be a specific task that is relevant to the cause. The second part of a SMART goal is making sure it's measurable. So what we want to do is when we execute on this plan to reach this goal is we want to be able to measure the progress and measure whether or not we're actually on target with reaching our goal here. Third is an achievable goal. So we want to know that the goal or the target we set, we want to know realistically that we can actually achieve that with the knowledge and the resources that we've got available to us. The next one is realistic. I've already mentioned this, or relevant. right? A lot of people use either, but in this case, realistic and or relevant goals to what you're trying to achieve. And I guess relevancy here would be, is achieving this goal really putting me on the path to my bigger goal or my greater vision for my business? And that's where that fits in here into setting a SMART goal. And the last one is having a timeline set to the goal. So we need to have this target or this goal achieved by a certain amount of time. Once we have a deadline attached to something, it straight away tells us in our minds that we must zero in on this now and make sure that we reverse engineer it, if you like, to say, well, I need to accomplish these steps on today or tomorrow or this week. This has to be done by, so that I know I'm on target to reaching this level during that before that deadline is reached. So that is how you break down a goal, and a SMART goal is a way to be able to set targets for your business and break it down so that it is a good goal to aim for, and having it attached to the overall vision of your business is a must as well. Steve-O?
Yep, that's a smart way to say it, mate. And I guess to me the most important one there, they're all good, and all those attributes will increase your chances of success incredibly. But it's a deadline really that scares a lot of people, because once you put a deadline on it, it becomes real, and putting a deadline on it tells your brain to start thinking, well, I've got to get this done, and your brain starts thinking of ways to take it and get it there. So it's very important.
And again, this fits into any areas of life as well. Setting a SMART goal, you can take, for example, the weight loss we spoke about earlier. It fits exactly the same in there, setting it specific. Okay, I want to lose 1.5 kilos in the next month.
Absolutely, mate. And a deadline. Christmas.
Sorry, Steve, did I lose sound then, mate?
Bit of sound there, mate. I thought might have been me, but we're back again. So
I'm back again. So we spoke about delegation earlier on tasks to ensure these KPIs are met. I mean, as business owners, if we try and put the plans in place and execute on everything to try and reach our targets for all the key performance indicators we're working on, we won't have time to scratch our bumps. I mean, so delegation, which has been a hot topic lately here at Crown, is that we offload some responsibility onto our team members to be able to carry out these tasks for us. So, but in order to do that, there are 3 must-haves that you need in order to delegate properly. The first area is assessing who is accountable or responsible for carrying out these tasks in order for us to reach these KPIs. They must be determined and explained very clearly to the person carrying it out. And as we spoke about being specific with SMART goals, well, it fits into your delegation as well as being specific with explaining to that team member to carry out this task quite clearly. The second area is having a clear description of the task to ensure the team member has all the relevant skills and resources to carry out the task. I'm sort of repeating myself there, but it's being making sure that the person that you do approach or you do delegate this task to has the skills. It's not just picking anyone that you've got on board. It's by assessing, okay, who has the skill set to carry out this task, and then give them the resources that need to be able to get that done. So that could be something as simple as if it's in your marketing area, and it could be giving them the resources as such as a marketing budget to push towards your website, improving the website to improve the analytics and leads coming in. So giving them the resources to be able to carry that out is also a must-have. And the third area is having a deadline for that task to be completed by, right? So in speaking with your team member and assessing the deadline, get them enrolled in saying, well, okay, when do you think you could have that task completed by for me? And get them to have buy-in on the conversation. And if they said, well, it might look like Wednesday next week, well, so that's fantastic. Well, how about we make it, say, next Thursday or Friday? Make it Friday at, say, 11 o'clock in the morning. Can I contact you then to get some results on that? And they should be able to give you a fairly clear answer then. So giving them the deadline and get buy-in on that will ensure that the delegation and the task you set for them is carried out and the deadline is definitely met. Have I missed anything there, Steve? I think
that's spot on, mate. I think delegation is one of the key skills as a business owner needs to be developed, and because I mean you need to be spending as a business owner your time on the highest value activities, and your ability to delegate will let you get the work that you shouldn't be doing allocated to your team. And these other points here are really great. I mean, I've lost count of the number of meetings that you have where there's no clear task, there's no responsibility, there's no deadline, there's no point of responsibility, and you have a meeting and everyone feels good and they walk away, and then there's no action because there's no accountability and nothing to follow up on. So these are all very essential parts of the wheel of fortune, if you like, that process. Very essential parts.
Absolutely, mate. Now you wanted to cover
cover off on points bring along tonight, mate. Just one of them was when you are going into look at a business and look at the challenges for the business, there's usually two answers, and we do this. We do this to ourselves, but there's one that if we want to look at how we need to improve our business, there's one that we want to hear, and it might be, well, need to get more sales and more clients and more business and more money coming in, and then there's the one that we need to hear, and these are the things as we go through the process of making a plan of how to improve the business, is to have a deep look inside the business and have an honest discussion about, is the business profitable? Are you making profit on the jobs and the services you're selling? Are you charging the right amount? Have you got the systems in place? Are things working correctly? Because if you turn on the customer tap and these things aren't in place, you'll go broke quicker. So really, when it comes to an improvement program for a business, you need to have a deep look inside the business and be honest with yourself about what really needs improving, and not just the feel-good stuff like get more customers. So that's the message of this slide here, is just there's always two answers to the question. There's the one you want to hear and the one that you need to hear.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And the last one there.
Love this one. This is a great quote. And it really, more businesses have gone broke due to conversations not had than for any other reason. Now, as business owners, you tend to avoid the difficult conversations, and that might be a conversation about a client of yours that's not profitable, that you need to do less business with. It could be a conversation about an employee that's not working out. It could be a conversation about a part of the business that you should not be in, or something that has to be fixed. And people tend to avoid these, and these issues grow. And if you neglect those problems, you'll be overcome by them. So this is just a reminder that you need to confront difficult and uncomfortable issues when you're going through this process in your business.
Yeah. I mean, whoops. that comes to mind back when I had contracting businesses, not having the conversations with some clients about certain things that they needed to provide to make us arriving on the job a lot easier. And if the conversation wasn't had, then it was going to cost my business more and more money, because we ran out of time to get things done properly, or it affected moving on to the next job. So either way, it's costing you money because you didn't have that conversation earlier on to say, look, we really need this.
I expect it done this way, and if there's a problem, come and talk to me. So totally.
Yeah. I think the big takeaway out of this, Steve, tonight is particularly with the timing of tonight's discussion too, being a new financial year. We're moving, it's the end of the first week. I know, a lot of business owners will be finishing off on tax stuff and all that, but it is, it's a good time to really start thinking about the plans for the next financial year ahead, and setting some targets. Set a 12-month target out there. What do we want our business? Where do we want to be in 12 months' time? All right, where do we want to be in 6 months' time? And then
the SMART goals are the ones. Yeah, a great way to start thinking about that.
And set those targets and reverse engineer the whole process, the whole 12 months, if you like, to write down to say, okay, well, these are the KPIs we need to meet monthly to be able to make sure our business is at that level in 12 months' time.
That's what Steve Jobs says, mate. He says you can only connect the dots backwards. So you got to go to where you want to go and then try and map out a path there. So totally spot on.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, look, Steve, thanks for joining us tonight, mate. I think we covered a very important topic tonight, particularly with the timing of the discussion, and really look forward to hearing some news over your way very soon that the place is not getting too heavily locked down again. With I think they locked the borders to Victoria.
Yeah, the news ain't so good. Since we last spoke, the news has got a bit worse. So hopefully, it won't get any worse. So we're fingers crossed, and we're hoping that it stabilises. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you set some targets, even this week. Start setting some plans, put some plans in place, and execute on those plans is the big takeaway tonight. And make sure you have a win. And if you want to send in some comments, or you want to have a discussion about what's happening tonight, whether you want to talk about planning for your business for the next 12 months ahead, reach out to us here at Crown Business Development. If you want some information on how to improve the growth of your business, grab that free white paper in the comments below, and we will see you all same time, same place next week. Have a great one, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again, Steve. Catch you then.
Okay.